Alright, what's up you guys? So the topic of today's video is going to be Kevin Levrone and his plans to come back in 2014. But before we talk about that, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Bottom Dwellers Tackle. It's where I get all my catfishing gear. It's where I get all my fishing tackle. It's a great tackle supply company. They've got a cool logo, big catfish flexing. So how much better can it get than that, guys? Definitely check them out. It's owned by David Ashby, friend of mine on Facebook. So definitely go check that out if you're into fishing. So, on to Kevin Levrone. According to Jerry Ward of BioS3 Training on YouTube, who is apparently a close personal friend of Kevin Levrone has confided in him that he's planning on competing in 2014 in not only the Arnold Classic but the Olympia. Now, Jerry goes on to say that Kevin confided in him, saying that he thinks, or he was going through like pictures of today's competitors, and he was like, I could beat him, I could beat him, I could beat him, I could beat him, etc., etc. So I think the problem with that is Kevin's kind of comparing his 90s physique to these guys' physiques now, in which I would agree with him. He would probably beat most of the guys on the field nowadays. As far as how he looks today, I don't know what his chances will be stacked up against these guys, because he's 47 years old. I believe the oldest Mr. Olympia to be won was by Ronnie Coleman. I think when he won his last Olympia, I think he was like 43, or he was really in his really early 40s, and Kevin Levrone is 47. So I don't know if anyone's ever been 47 and won an Olympia, so don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure that Ronnie Coleman was the oldest to win an Olympia at 43 when he won his last one. But in addition to that, I would think if someone's going to come back after retirement with the goal of winning an Olympia, if anyone could do it, it would be someone that has already won an Olympia and proven that they're that caliber of bodybuilder. Now, Kevin Levrone has proven he's a very high caliber bodybuilder. He's gotten second in the Mr. Olympia several times, and obviously he had a ridiculously great physique in the 90s. Now the question is, can he duplicate that physique? Now that he's 47, he's not necessarily too old to put on that kind of muscle mass. I mean, obviously with the right drugs and the right training and the right coaching, he can get there to that size, because as you may or may not know, he wasn't that heavy or that huge when he was in the 90s. He wasn't really known for being huge. It was more or less his conditioning. So right now I know he still carries a decent amount of muscle, but I guess the question would be whether or not he could really replicate the conditioning and the size. I think he's definitely probably 20 or 30 pounds smaller than what he was when he was competing as a pro in the Arnold and whatnot. So my thoughts are, I think he could do it. I don't think it'd be impossible for him to place well in the Arnold, even maybe win the Arnold. He has won the Arnold before, so if anyone's going to come back and win it, it's probably going to be someone that's already won the shit. So I don't think it's impossible for him to come back and place well or win a show. I think he could make a comeback. There's a guy, Troy Alves, I believe he's 46, and he just won a pro show this past year. So being in your late 40s doesn't necessarily mean you can't still have mass and still be a bodybuilder. I think he could definitely come back and do it. Now, the biggest hiatus gap in bodybuilding that has ever been filled and made a comeback was, I believe, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he left the Mr. Olympia and quote-unquote retired in 75 and came back and won the 1980 Mr. Olympia 5 years later. Now, I believe Kevin Levrone's been out of bodybuilding for over 10 years now. So that'd probably be the biggest comeback gap of all time in bodybuilding. It'd be a pretty fucking impressive feat for him to come back and do well. Now, I do believe he can do well if he puts on a little bit more size, and if he really takes this shit seriously. If this isn't a publicity stunt and this isn't just trying to get attention, and he's really coming at this seriously. I mean, the guy's not new to the game. He's done this shit before. He knows how to do it. He knows how to train. He knows what to take. He knows how to compete. So if someone's going to come back, it's going to be him, because he already knows how to do all this shit. So all he has to do is practice what he preaches and practice what he knows. And theoretically, he could come back in the same condition, same size as he was before. He's still the same guy. He has the same genetics. We don't know that he's too old to put that size back on. So if he could, who's to say that he couldn't come back with more muscle maturity and more size than before? He's older, he's more mature. Who's to say he doesn't come back and look better than he looked in the 90s, in which case, if he did, he could definitely beat a lot of these pros. So those are my thoughts, guys. If you want to look up some pictures of Kevin Levrone, go ahead and do that. If you don't know about him, he was a fucking fantastic bodybuilder, and his conditioning was just superb in competition. So those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe, and hit up Bottom Dweller's Tackle. Alright, guys. Peace out.